Welcome back to Catfish, the Untold Stories. Up next, we have a story. We're talking about deception on a whole new level.
You are a liar and a hypocrite.
Yeah. We've heard from some of our producers that this Hinckley catfish is the catfish to end all catfish.
Yes, I've heard whisperings and grumblings. So here it is.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm 28 and I live in El Dorado Hills, California. I had previously been married and been divorced for about 4 years. Hi, my name is Julie and I'm a single mother of 3 children who are 12, 10, and 7. And I'm from American Fork, Utah.
I'm Brandon and I'm a chiropractor.
I am a member of the Mormon Church. I grew up in an LDS family.
And I am a Mormon.
When I'm looking to date someone, I believe that my faith is the first thing that I look for in them. We are encouraged to date people that are also of the same faith.
You feel like you have that common bond with someone in your own faith and your own religion.
About a year ago, I was involved with a charity auction, and about 6 months after the charity auction happened, I received a friend request. I returned from a singles cruise and was visiting friends in Utah. I received a message from a guy. His name was Travis, and I had no mutual friends with.
A random friend request.
Yeah, the random friend request. It just pops up. Oh, this is like a harmless thing. I'm just gonna click on it.
You gotta take friendship seriously.
When I looked at the picture, I thought, this is definitely a really good-looking gentleman. It really did appear as though he could actually be Mormon, because some of the standards that we believe in are against drinking and drugs and smoking and those kinds of things. And they were pictures of himself bowling. Everybody dressed in the pictures was really modest and had sleeves on. Looked like he took care of his body. He had a good bone structure. I don't know who this is, but I'm kind of curious to find out. So I just sent him a quick message and said, hi, how do I know you? And he said, oh, I met you at the charity auction in May. And I thought, we did? I don't remember meeting you.
Well, that's the danger of friending someone you don't know, is that they can look through your timeline and your interests and say, oh, I'll just tell them I was at this event.
I received a message from Travis. You guys have to hear this. It was a long message quoting one of the prophets of the church, Gordon B. Hinckley.
My dear sisters.
I really liked it because it kind of vocally announced what I've always felt about women.
So this guy is actually using their religion to manipulate them. That's pretty sinister.
We still don't know anything. You're making a lot of presumptions.
He just seemed like the perfect guy. How could you go wrong with an attractive doctor who sang and played the piano? Things went from just messaging back and forth to talking on the phone on a regular basis.
That would be kind of romantic, actually.
He began to tell me his family history.
I'm the oldest of 12.
Really?
Yeah.
And that he was a quadruplet.
This guy's really, he's freestyling.
He had a baby daughter. She was a year old, and that her mother had died in childbirth.
That's really heavy. Sorry to hear that.
We would talk on the phone, and he just magically had all the same interests as me. He loved The Bachelor, but he couldn't answer questions about the show, or he'd change the subject.
I mean, of all the lies to tell,
Yeah, that's
the most egregious. Clearly a catfish.
Yeah.
I started investigating his page a little bit more. I could see comments that people made on his page, and I could see pictures people posted. And so I'd go onto their pages. It didn't always match the name on their profile. So that got me a little bit concerned.
Wait, Travis sent me that quote.
A friend of mine called and said, hey, your story sounds really familiar to what happened to my friend Brandon.
I remember being at my office and I get a phone call from a friend and I hadn't heard from her forever. She's like, I have some kind of bad news for you. It just made me sick. Things started escalating drastically over the next month or two. I couldn't believe this was happening to me.
Welcome back to Catfish, the Untold Stories.
When my friend called me, she's like, I have some kind of bad news for you.
You're not gonna believe this. Someone is using your pictures online, pretending to be you.
She says, my friend is supposed to meet up with a guy who has your pictures and has a fake profile online. I was devastated. I started worrying, how is this gonna affect me out in public? And it was starting to make me sick. I was able to go and see this profile and see all my pictures used in this crazy way. I couldn't believe how elaborate this profile was. He'd set up all these fake family members. He's using all my pictures. A picture with my niece, he's claiming that that's his daughter and that he's a widower. And at that point, I didn't really know what to do.
That must be so freaky. To be the person whose photos are being used.
About a month into it, I started running into people who would think I was like a creepy person.
Excuse me?
I'm at church and I remember distinctly this girl is just looking at me all strange. I'm like, oh no, this isn't like a flirty look. This is like, she doesn't like me for some reason.
Yeah, I know who you are. You are a liar and a hypocrite.
Okay, how do you know I'm a hypocrite, you know? She's like, I've seen your profile. You sent my friends all these creepy messages. You act like you're some good person here in church.
Some of my friends are actually falling for you.
Some guy is out there, he's stolen my pictures.
I nicely told this girl,
I assure you
that is not me. Someone's been impersonating me and has a fake profile with my pictures. That's when it started hitting me like, uh-oh, this could be a really bad thing. Not only did I start feeling bad for the girls, but I also started really worrying about my reputation.
I'm really sorry.
What'd you do?
I worked night shift.
I spoke on the phone with the Hinckley Catfish, and his voice did not seem to match his photos.
I have to go, but let's talk later.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be nice.
So weird.
It was very different. He sounded like a different ethnicity than his photos. My intention was to figure out what he was telling the truth about and what he was lying about. So I tried to get us to Skype, and he always had a reason why he couldn't Skype.
If they can't Skype, something ain't right.
About an hour before we were actually supposed to Skype, the Hinckley Catfish sent me a text message that said, "Before anything goes any further, I need you to look at this link."
What was that?
And I went on there and saw about 70 different complaints dating all the way back to 2011. The same type of story about somebody who claimed to be the oldest of 12 kids, who was a surgeon, who had 1 or 2 children, where the woman had died, and that he had been on multiple websites, on dating websites, on social media sites. I immediately just felt a sense of sorrow because I really thought, wow, I did think that there could be, possibility here, and obviously now there's nothing. I was surprised. He just must have felt the need to tell me the truth. I searched his phone number, and I found all these fraud alerts from different women with the same story of how he approached them with this Hinckley quote.
Starts with a religious quote.
And it was confirmed that everything he said was a lie. So I started taking screenshots of all his fake profiles.
Complete liar.
I posted it to warn all my girlfriends and asked them to share it, and was talking to him on the phone one last time. He was telling me a story about arguing with a nurse at work.
There's one nurse, Lucy. She keeps getting into the same tiff.
And I just got so sick in my stomach from listening to what I knew was a lie. So finally I pretended like our phone call was dropped. And I hung up on him.
So I tried through social media, tried to block. And right when they would block his profile, he'd just set up a new profile. So none of that was working. I did contact the cops.
Hi, Detective Miller. Somebody has stolen my identity. No, they didn't take my credit cards. They're using my pictures online.
And they were like, there is nothing we can do. We cannot arrest this guy. He is not stealing your identity. He is taking public pictures you had online, and he's doing whatever he wants with them, which anyone can do. At that point, I'm like, then what do? I have to hire someone to track this guy down. I found a private investigator through friends.
Brandon?
Yes, come on in.
All we have right now is his phone number from these girls. He used that phone number, kind of did some legwork of his own.
And we'll get to the bottom of this and get your good name back.
We found out his name was Jacob, and he lived in Idaho. My PI, he proposes this sting operation. And I'm like, okay, let's go stop him.
Whoa. So he's got a private detective
I
now.
want a private detective.
They track this guy down, and now they're gonna try and go...
They're gonna try to pull a sting on him.
Sting.
And what he wanted me to do was find a girl that was still talking to him.
If you're up for it, maybe we could set up a meeting, you know, and catch this guy.
So they're literally now trying to come up with bait.
We finally found someone in my church. It didn't take us that long. They had a meetup spot. I'm like, okay, please, like, just end this, you know, I hope this works. She just sits there for a while, and I was obviously worried for her safety because I didn't know how crazy he was. And then nothing. He just never showed up. They waited there for a while.
Of course he's not going to show up. He's a catfish. They never show up. They always bail.
Once the sting operations weren't successful, my private investigator and I decided that it was time to stop him. What we did at this point, he said, okay, I know where he lives. I'm gonna go there so you know that there's closure.
Are you Jacob?
Why are you asking?
I'm a private investigator.
He was my age. He didn't fit the profile of a catfish. He looked normal.
Do you know Brandon?
No.
You're using his picture, his information online to meet women.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know anybody named Brandon.
I've traced that phone number back to this address, and it's your phone number. This is a cease and desist letter.
He confessed to everything, and he kind of talked about me a little bit and admitted he didn't know me at all, but he had just found my profile and thought I looked like I had a good life and he wanted to live my life.
I just wanted to see what it would be like to be here for a little while.
Don't make me come back here with the police.
Sent him a message and just said, why? Why do you do this? And he just said that he feels so unworthy of love that he creates fake online conversations and fake relationships and fake family members.
I think that's the kind of person that he wishes he was, but never had that drive to actually make it happen.
Part of the cooperation, you know, Jacob needed to send us a list of all the females he had contacted during this period with his fake profile.
Don't worry when the stars are out.
Honestly, it was like 800-ish.
Wow.
That's how, I mean, for years.
It just goes to show you that someone who has no confidence and no self-esteem in real life can fake it online.
What I want Hinckley Catfish to know is that I really, really hope that you get the help and the healing that you need and that you deserve, because you don't deserve to live in self-hatred your whole life.
This Hinckley guy really, more than just pulling on people's heartstrings, really took advantage of their beliefs.
This guy used God as a social lubricant.
Crazy.